In the heart of Pennsylvania's Susquehanna Valley, where rolling hills stretch endlessly beneath a boundless sky and ancient forests whisper secrets of forgotten eras, there lies a relic of a bygone age, an abandoned estate, its grandeur now cloaked in decay. Once a beacon of opulence, its towering spires and sprawling gardens were the envy of the elite, a testament to the audacious dreams of a man who dared to conquer industry and etch his name into history. The estate was more than stone and mortar. It was a living monument to power, where lavish galas echoed through marble halls and deals that shaped destinies were sealed in smoky parlors. Yet time has not been kind. Now its windows are shattered, its walls choked with ivy, and its once manicured lawns surrendered to wild overgrowth. This forsaken place stands as a silent witness to a saga of ambition that soared, loyalty that faltered, and a betrayal so profound it shattered a legacy forever. In the dawn of the 20th century, when America was forging its identity in fire and steel, a man named Richard Whitmore carved his empire from the crucible of industry. Born to modest means, his relentless ambition and razor-sharp intellect propelled him to the pinnacle of Pennsylvania's steel trade. By 1905, his fortune was vast, his influence undeniable. But Richard was not content with mere wealth. He sought immortality through legacy. Thus the Whitmore estate was born, a sprawling masterpiece of architecture nestled in the verdant hills of Pennsylvania. Designed by the finest architects of the era, its limestone facade gleamed under the sun, its towering columns evoking the grandeur of European palaces. Every detail, from the hand-carved mahogany staircases to the crystal chandeliers imported from Venice, spoke of a man who believed his name would endure for centuries. The estate was more than a home. It was a bold declaration of dominance, a stage where Richard hosted industrial titans, politicians, and visionaries who shaped the nation's future. To the workers who toiled in his factories, it was a distant dream, a symbol of a world they could never touch. To Richard, it was the embodiment of his life's work, a fortress of power meant to stand the test of time. Little did he know, the seeds of its undoing were already sown, waiting for the right moment to unravel his grand vision. When Richard Whitmore passed in 1918, his son Thomas stood at the threshold of a daunting inheritance. At just 32, Thomas was handed not only the keys to the grand estate, but also the weight of a legacy that had come to define Pennsylvania's elite. Where Richard was a titan of industry, his calloused hands forged in the heat of steel mills. Thomas was a man of refinement, his ambitions rooted in the glittering world of politics and high society. Educated at Yale, with a charisma that could sway crowds, Thomas saw the estate not as a monument to industry, but as a platform for influence. He envisioned himself as a statesman, a kingmaker, whose name would grace the halls of Washington. The estate became his stage, its grand ballroom hosting lavish galas where senators mingled with socialites, their laughter mingling with the clink of champagne flutes. Thomas's political rallies, held on the estate's sprawling lawns, drew thousands, his speeches promising progress and prosperity. Newspapers heralded him as the golden son of Pennsylvania, a man destined for greatness. Yet beneath the polished veneer, Thomas lacked his father's ruthless pragmatism. He entrusted the estate's operations to others, his focus consumed by campaign trails and social climbing. The responsibility of maintaining the family's wealth and the estate's splendor grew heavy, and cracks began to form in the foundation of the Whitmore legacy. Unseen by Thomas, the very men he trusted to uphold his father's vision were beginning to cast long shadows, their loyalties wavering as ambition stirred in their hearts. The stage was set for a fall that would echo through the decades. In the orbit of Thomas Whitmore's rising star, one figure stood closer than any other. Samuel Hayes, a man whose unassuming demeanor belied a sharp mind and an unshakable loyalty, or so it seemed. Their friendship had been forged in the hallowed halls of Yale, where late-night debates over philosophy and politics cemented a bond that felt unbreakable. Samuel was not born to wealth like Thomas. He was the son of a schoolteacher, his path to prominence paved by intellect and determination. When Thomas inherited the Whitmore estate, he turned to Samuel, offering him a role as his confidant and steward. Samuel accepted with quiet pride, stepping into the role of managing the estate's sprawling operations. From overseeing the staff of gardeners, maids and cooks to balancing the complex finances of the Whitmore fortune, Samuel was the linchpin that kept the estate's grandeur intact. To the outside world, he was Thomas's shadow, always present, always dependable, his meticulous ledgers and firm hand ensuring the estate ran like a well-oiled machine. He negotiated with suppliers, approved renovations, and even mediated disputes among the staff, all while Thomas dazzled at political banquets and rallies. Their partnership was the envy of Pennsylvania's elite, a testament to trust in an era of ruthless ambition. Yet, beneath Samuel's loyal facade, a restless undercurrent stirred. The weight of managing another man's legacy, coupled with the temptations of proximity to such wealth, began to erode the foundations of his devotion. As the years passed, Samuel's role as the trusted confidant would take a darker turn, setting the stage for a betrayal that would shake the Whitmore name to its core. As the 1920s roared on, the Whitmore estate stood as a glittering jewel in Pennsylvania's crown, its halls alive with the echoes of grand parties and the hum of ambition. Yet, beneath the surface, a creeping malaise began to take root. Whispers of financial irregularities drifted through the estate's corridors like a cold wind, too faint to alarm, but persistent enough to unsettle. Staff members noticed anomalies. Deliveries paid for but never received, repairs budgeted but never completed. Investments, once the bedrock of the Whitmore fortune, began to falter. Their returns dwindling without explanation. A promising railroad venture collapsed inexplicably. A mining operation in West Virginia vanished into a haze of vague reports. These were not mere oversights. They were cracks in the foundation of a legacy, growing wider with each passing year. Thomas Whitmore, now a rising star in Pennsylvania's political sphere, was too consumed by his ambitions to notice. His days were spent crafting speeches, wooing donors, and navigating the labyrinth of state politics, his trust in Samuel Hayes absolute. Samuel, after all, had always been the steady hand, the man who ensured the estate's affairs were beyond reproach. But Samuel's late nights in the estate's oak-paneled study told a different story. His desk, once a model of order, was now strewn with cryptic telegrams and ledgers marked with hurried corrections. Secretive phone calls, conducted in hushed tones, hinted at dealings far removed from the estate's interests. The staff, loyal but wary, exchanged furtive glances, sensing a shift in the man they once admired. Samuel's demeanor grew guarded, his smiles forced as if he carried a burden too heavy to share. The truth, hidden in the shadows of his meticulous records, was a web of deceit. Funds siphoned to mysterious accounts, investments redirected to shell companies that existed only on paper. Thomas, blinded by his pursuit of power, remained oblivious. Unaware that the man he called his brother was orchestrating a betrayal that would soon bring the Whitmore legacy to its knees. When the stock market crashed in October 1929, it sent shockwaves through America, toppling fortunes and shattering dreams. For the Whitmore estate, that seismic event was the final blow to a foundation already weakened by deceit. Once a beacon of stability, its marble halls a symbol of unshakable wealth, the estate now teetered on the brink of ruin. The crash obliterated what remained of the Whitmore investments, their value evaporating overnight. Creditors, once patient allies, descended like vultures, demanding payments for loans Thomas scarcely knew existed. Foreclosure loomed, a word that seemed unthinkable for a family whose name had once commanded reverence. In the midst of this chaos, Thomas Whitmore was forced to confront a truth he had long ignored. Late one stormy night in the estate's cavernous study, he pored over ledgers Samuel had guarded so fiercely. What he found was a labyrinth of betrayal, millions diverted to offshore accounts, fictitious companies, and personal ventures bearing Samuel's name. The scale of the embezzlement was staggering, a meticulous plan executed over years by the man Thomas had trusted above all others. Heartbroken and enraged, Thomas confronted Samuel in a scene that would haunt the estate's walls. Samuel's excuses crumbled under the weight of evidence, his once confident demeanor replaced by a hollow defiance. "You were never here, Thomas," he spat, "chasing your speeches while I kept this place alive." But the truth was undeniable. Samuel's greed had bled the Whitmore fortune dry, leaving Thomas to face the wreckage alone. Desperate to salvage his family's legacy, Thomas sought loans, sold heirlooms, and pleaded with old allies. But the tide of public opinion had turned. Newspapers, once his champions, now branded him a fool, his political dreams reduced to ash. The estate, stripped of its vitality, faced auction, its fate sealed by the betrayal of a man Thomas had called his friend. In that moment, the Whitmore name, once synonymous with power, became a cautionary tale of trust misplaced. As the autumn of 1930 descended, the Whitmore estate stood like a wounded giant. Its once proud silhouette marred by the scars of financial ruin. Thomas Whitmore, his reputation in tatters and his spirit broken, could no longer bear the weight of public scrutiny. The newspapers that had once lauded him now printed scathing exposés, painting him as a naive aristocrat undone by his own hubris. Unable to face the whispers of betrayal that followed him like a shadow, Thomas fled, some say to a quiet life in New England, others to obscurity abroad. He left behind the estate that had defined his family, its doors locked, its windows shuttered, its legacy abandoned to the mercy of time. The grand halls, once alive with music and laughter, fell silent, their echoes replaced by the creak of rotting beams and the drip of leaking roofs. The gardens, meticulously tended for decades, surrendered to weeds and brambles, their beauty choked by neglect. Inside, dust settled on gilded mirrors and velvet drapes, while cobwebs draped chandeliers like mourning veils. Personal treasures, letters, photographs, heirlooms lay scattered, left in haste as if their owners could not bear to linger. The estate became a ghost, a haunting reminder of grandeur lost to treachery. Locals spoke of it in hushed tones, weaving tales of cursed wealth and broken promises. For decades it stood untouched, its story fading into myth, its halls preserving the faint echoes of a betrayal that had torn a family apart. The Whitmore estate, once a symbol of triumph, was now a monument to the fragility of trust waiting in silence for someone to reclaim its truth from the ashes of its past. In the spring of 1985, as Pennsylvania's hills bloomed with new life, a chance discovery breathed fresh purpose into the forgotten Whitmore estate. Emily Carter, a young historian with a passion for uncovering America's hidden stories, was combing through dusty county records when she stumbled upon a faded photograph of the estate in its prime. Its majestic facade, captured in sepia tones, stirred something in her, a curiosity that refused to be ignored. Intrigued by the scant mentions of the Whitmore family in historical texts, Emily set out to unravel the mystery of this once great dynasty. Her journey led her to the estate itself, now a crumbling relic hidden behind a tangle of overgrown oaks. Armed with a flashlight and a notebook, she stepped into its shadowed halls, her footsteps echoing in rooms that had not felt human presence in decades. The air was heavy with the scent of mildew and memory, each corner revealing fragments of a lost era. Faded portraits, yellowed letters, a child's toy abandoned on a staircase. Emily's research took her deeper, into archives and attics where she pieced together the Whitmore saga. She uncovered newspaper clippings from the 1920s, their headlines trumpeting Thomas Whitmore's political ascent, and later his humiliating fall. She found court documents detailing the estate's foreclosure, and buried in a forgotten bank vault, ledgers that hinted at a betrayal so audacious it had toppled a legacy. The name Samuel Hayes emerged like a spectre, His role in the Whitmore's downfall a puzzle Emily was determined to solve. Night after night, she sifted through records, her obsession growing as the estate's story came into focus. A tale of ambition, loyalty, and a treachery that had left scars on the land itself. For Emily, the estate was no longer just a ruin. It was a testament to resilience, a story begging to be told, its truth waiting to be reclaimed from the silence of history. As Emily Carter delved deeper into the Whitmore estate's past, she unraveled a web of deceit, so intricate it seemed almost diabolical. Her investigation, fueled by a historian's tenacity and a storyteller's heart, revealed the true extent of Samuel Hayes's betrayal, a scheme that had not only destroyed a family, but altered the course of a region's history. In a cluttered office lit by the glow of a single lamp, Emily pored over bank statements, telegrams, and cryptic correspondence, each document a piece of a puzzle that pointed to Samuel's treachery. She discovered that Samuel had begun siphoning funds as early as 1923, small amounts at first disguised as routine expenses. Over time, his ambition grew bolder. He established offshore accounts in the Caribbean, funneling millions through a network of shell companies that existed only as names on paper. Investments meant to secure the Whitmore fortune were redirected to ventures that benefited Samuel alone. Speculative land deals, shady partnerships, even a fleeting foray into Prohibition-era smuggling. The audacity of his scheme was matched only by its precision. Samuel had exploited Thomas's trust, knowing his friend's preoccupation with politics left him blind to the estate's finances. Emily's bulletin board became a tapestry of connections, photographs, account numbers, and timelines linking Samuel to a shadowy underworld of financial manipulation. Flashbacks haunted her imagination. Samuel in clandestine meetings with bankers, his briefcase stuffed with forged documents, Samuel burning letters in the estate's fireplace to cover his tracks. The more Emily uncovered, the more she understood the human cost of his actions. The Whitmores, stripped of their wealth, had faced not just financial ruin but the erosion of their identity. For Emily, the investigation was no longer just academic. It was a mission to give voice to a family silenced by betrayal, to ensure the truth of their downfall was not lost to the dust of time. Emily Carter's journey to uncover the truth of the Whitmore estate ignited a fire within her, a resolve to restore honor to a family whose legacy had been unjustly tarnished. She knew the estate's story was more than a cautionary tale. It was a piece of America's fabric, a narrative of ambition and betrayal that deserved to be preserved. With a historian's passion and a reformer's zeal, Emily rallied a coalition of local authorities, fellow historians, and community leaders. Her presentations, filled with meticulously gathered evidence, painted a vivid picture of the estate's rise and fall, captivating audiences and sparking a groundswell of support. In 1987, after tireless advocacy, the Whitmore estate was declared a Pennsylvania historical site, a designation that protected it from demolition and secured funding for its restoration. The work began in earnest. Crews cleared overgrown gardens, repaired shattered windows, and stabilized crumbling walls, each effort a step toward reviving the estate's faded glory. Emily collaborated with curators to transform the mansion into a living museum, its rooms filled with artifacts that told the Whitmore story. Richard's blueprints, Thomas's campaign posters, and even Samuel's ledgers, now displayed as evidence of his betrayal. Community members, inspired by Emily's vision, organized memorial events where descendants of the estate's staff shared oral histories, weaving a richer tapestry of its past. Plaques were erected, detailing the estate's history with unflinching honesty, ensuring visitors understood both its triumphs and its tragedies. For Emily, the restoration was a labor of love, a way to honor the resilience of those who had walked its halls. The estate, once a symbol of ruin, became a beacon of redemption, a place where history was not just remembered but felt, its lessons a reminder of the enduring power of truth to heal even the deepest. As the sun sets over the restored Whitmore estate, casting golden light across its revitalized gardens and gleaming facade, the story of this once-forgotten place lingers in the air like a timeless melody. Its tale is a poignant reminder of the fragility of even the grandest legacies, how ambition can soar to dazzling heights only to be undone by the weight of betrayal. The Whitmores, with their dreams of power and permanence, built a monument to their name, yet it was trust, misplaced in the heart of a friend, that brought it crashing down. But the estate story does not end in ruin. Through the tireless work of those who refuse to let its truth fade, history has found its voice once more. The halls that once echoed with treachery now resonate with the footsteps of visitors, each one a witness to a saga of resilience and redemption. The Whitmore estate stands not as a relic of failure, but as a testament to the power of remembrance, a place where the past speaks to the present, urging us to guard our trust and honor our roots. As Emily Carter places the final piece in the estate's historical exhibit, she steps back, knowing she has given a family their due, ensuring their story will endure. In the quiet of this restored sanctuary, the lessons of the past whisper to all who listen. Betrayal may wound, but truth in time can heal. If this story made you look twice at history's silence, subscribe now, because the truth doesn't rest, and neither do we.